In verse 64. قال هل آمنكم عليه إلا كما أمنتكم على أخيه من قبل فالله خير حافظا وهو أرحم الراحمين. Shall I trust you all just as I had trusted you with his brother before this? Allah is the best in protection and He is the most merciful. Now the brethren of Yusuf alayhi salam had said to their father when they brought Yusuf, remember, وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ, and we would indeed protect him, we will guard him. When they seduced their father to let Yusuf alayhi salam go out with them in verse 12. And here they were repeating those same words. The exact same words. A normal response would be to say, I've heard that before, try something else. Isn't it? The words of Yaqub alayhi salam, however, embodied greater wisdom. He used the persuasive approach by reminding them of their betrayal of trust, amana, which is a grave sin, serious sin, and asked them how he could depend upon them to guard Benjamin when they had failed to deliver the trust with regard to Yusuf alayhi salam. Yaqub alayhi salam then said, فَاللَّهُ خَيْرٌ حَافِظًا. Allah is the best as a protector. Does this imply that he had agreed at this point to let them take Benjamin with them? The scholars have differed in this. But it is of no consequence, for the permission is explicitly implied in verse 66. This statement of Yaqub alayhi salam, however, did indeed imply two things. Firstly, that his dependence for the protection of Benjamin was not upon them, but upon Allah. For none can protect against Allah's ordainments. None can protect against Allah's ordainments. You can take what precautions you want. As they say, Al-Hadar la yughni anil qadar. Secondly, it also alludes to his knowledge that Yusuf alayhi salam was safe and sound. And that just as Allah had protected Yusuf alayhi salam, he was now prepared to place his trust in Allah once again with regard to Benjamin. He had indirectly reminded his sons about Yusuf, if they were intelligent, and if they were. Yaqub alayhi salam's belief and trust in God seems to be the only logical reason for him to part with Benjamin. It can, however, be said that his sons would now have grown up and perhaps turned over a new leaf, although the first part of this verse 64 does not support this. It could also be that they did not display jealousy against Benjamin as they had against Yusuf, or as they used to against Yusuf. And so Yaqub alayhi salam perceived it to be safe to allow them to take him with them. It could also have been the situation they were in. The severe drought and the need for food perhaps made the taking of this risk a necessity. The benefit of sending Benjamin was real, whereas the fear of losing him was a mere possibility. It is indeed one of the principles of the Sharia that an act of sure benefit should not be abandoned due to the possibility of an imagined harm. Al-maslaha muhaqqaqa la yutraku li mafsadatin mutawahhama. On the other hand, if this decision was made based upon revelation or inspiration from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then these conditions or considerations are irrelevant. The mother of Musa alayhi salam and Ibrahim alayhi salam had embarked upon acts that constituted not only greater risks but also bordered on the illogical based upon human reasoning, right? The act of throwing Musa alayhi salam into the river Nile by his mother in that chest. The act of Ibrahim alayhi salam leaving his wife and son Ismail in the barren valley of Makkah. But you know what happened, right? Why? Because of Allah's protection. Because all these were commands from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you fulfill the commands of Allah, you receive the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in mysterious ways. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He goes on to say in verse 65, وَلَمَّا فَتَحُوا مَتَاعَهُمْ وَجَدُوا بِضَاعَتَهُمْ رُدَّتْ إِلَيْهِمْ قَالُوا يَا أَبَانَا مَا نَبْغِي هَذِهِ بِضَاعَتُنَا رُدَّتْ إِلَيْنَا وَنَمِيرُ أَهْلَنَا وَنَحْفَظُ أَخَانَا وَنَزْدَادُ كَيْلَ بَعِيرٍ ذَلِكَ كَيْلٌ يَسِيرٌ. And when they opened their possessions, remember He had put what they had brought back into their saddles without them knowing? They found that their goods had been returned to them. They said, "Oh, our father, what else can we ask for? What else can we seek? Man, these are our goods," meaning that we had brought for barter, and they have been returned to us, and we would be able to get provisions for our family with them, and we would protect our brother Benjamin, and be able to get an extra animal's load of provisions which Yusuf had promised. And that is but a small measure, which means actually they needed a lot. Big family. As for the meaning of the word mata, it refers to all objects of comfort and enjoyment, wealth, livestock, women, children, etc. The comforts of the world have all been described as mata. فَلَمَّا فَتَحُوا مَتَاعَهُمْ. The brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam had mentioned three things to further convince their father to part with Benjamin. Firstly, the return of the goods, which represented a materialization of the intentions of Yusuf alayhi salam. For he had intended to motivate them to return with it. It also underlined Yusuf's good intentions and generosity. Secondly, they reiterated their resolve to protect Benjamin. نَحْفَظُ أَخَانَا. Thirdly, they mentioned that they would get another animal's weight in provisions and said that it was little. Try with yourself. Little in relation to their needs, which made it extremely necessary that they bring Benjamin to get whatever extra they can get from provisions. All these factors were positive factors as far as the efforts to secure the release of Benjamin were concerned. What was the response of their father Yaqub alayhi salam? Verse 66. قَالَ لَنْ أُرْسِلَهُ مَعَكُمْ حَتَّى تُؤْتُونِي مَوْثِقًا مِّنَ اللَّهِ لَا تَأْتُونَنِي بِهِ إِلَّا أَنْ يُحَاطَ بِكُمْ فَلَمَّا آتَوْهُ مَوْثِقَهُمْ قَالَ اللَّهُ عَلَى مَا نَقُولُ وَكِيلٌ. Yaqub alayhi salam said, I will never send in Benjamin with you. لَنْ أُرْسِلَ مَعَكُمْ, until you all have given me a covenant that is binding upon you by swearing in Allah's name. By swearing in Allah's name, in that you all would bring him back to me, except if you yourselves are encompassed by a calamity, and all of you are gone. And when they had given their oath, Yaqub alayhi salam said, Allah is witness to that which we say. So they gave their oaths, and Yaqub alayhi salam agreed to release Benjamin, but after giving them some words of advice, mentioned in the next verse, verse 67. وَقَالَ يَا بَنِيَّ لَا تَدْخُلُوا مِنْ بَابٍ وَاحِدٍ وَادْخُلُوا مِنْ أَبْوَابٍ مُتَفَرِّقَةٍ وَمَا أُغْنِي عَنْكُمْ مِنَ اللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ إِنِ الْحُكْمُ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ عَلَيْهِ تَوَكَّلْتُ وَعَلَيْهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُتَوَكِّلُونَ. He, Yaqub alayhi salam, said, O my sons, do not enter by one door. Do not go through one door, but enter through separate doors. And I am not able to avail you against Allah in any way, help you, benefit you against what Allah has decreed in any way. Judgment belongs only to Allah. And in Allah, in Him, I have placed my trust. And in Allah, let those who want to place their trust. Why did Yaqub alayhi salam advise them not to enter through a single door? The majority of the scholars of Tafsir have said that the sons of Yaqub alayhi salam were known for their beauty and good build, and that they were the sons of one man who was well known, and that he had advised them thus out of fear from the evil eye. From the evil eye. In a narration recorded by Imam Muslim and Imam Tirmidhi rahimahullah, on the authority of Ibn Abbas, from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who said, قال العين حق ولو كان شيء سابق القدر سبقته العين وإذا سبسلتم تبسلون. The harm of the evil eye is real. If there was a thing that can overtake divine predestination, the evil eye would have done so. And if you are told to wash yourselves, do so. What do you mean by wash yourselves? Now the reference here is to one of the methods of cure from the evil effects of the evil eye, by asking the person who is suspected or known to have afflicted that person to take ablution. And this ablution is taken in a specific manner, not exactly in the manner that we take ablution. And the manner of doing so is mentioned in Sunan al-Tirmidhi. Maybe we can talk about it maybe at a different time. I don't know. I don't think so. I have mentioned it here. The afflicted person would then, after this person has taken the ablution, the water will then be poured upon it. He will take a bath with that water, or from which that person has taken ablution. In a narration recorded by Imam al-Bukhari and Imam al-Tirmidhi and others, also on the authority from Ibn Abbas, who said, كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يعوذ الحسن والحسين ويقول إن أباكما كان يعوذ بهما إسماعيل وإسحاق أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من كل شيطان وهامة ومن كل عين لامة. He said that the Prophet ﷺ used to invoke protection for his grandsons, Al-Hasan and Hussein alayhim as-salam, saying, your forefather Ibrahim used to seek protection with them for Ismail and Ishaq. And what is the reading? This is one of the prescriptions for the cure for the person afflicted with the evil eye, or protection from it. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامة من كل شيطان وهامة ومن كل عين لامة. Actually, if it's read for them, as mentioned in another narration, it will be أعيذكما. Another narration, أعيذكما. Okay, I seek protection for the both of you. So it should not be أعوذ, it should be أعيذكما بكلمات الله التامة, with the perfect words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from all Satans and poisonous insects and reptiles, and from every evil eye. From every evil eye. Then in a narration recorded by Ibn Majah, maybe in the next lesson I can print it out. If you can remind me, I can bring it for you. All the different prescriptions. In a narration recorded by Ibn Majah and Abi Sa'id, أن جبريل أتى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا محمد اشتكيت؟ قال نعم. قال بسم الله أرقيك من كل شيء يؤذيك من شر كل نفس أو عين أو حاسد الله يشفيك بسم الله أرقيك. From Abi Sa'id, that the angel Jibreel came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, O Muhammad ﷺ, are you suffering from an affliction? He ﷺ said, yes. He, Jibreel, said this prayer, and he taught him this prayer, okay, which we have just read. Bismillahi arqik, bi kulli shay'in yu'dik, min sharri kulli nafsin aw aynin aw hasidin, Allahu yashfik, Bismillahi arqik. With the name of Allah, I invoke protection from everything that is hurting you, from the evil of every soul or the eye or the envious one. May Allah cure you. With the name of Allah, I seek protection for you with the mention of this prayer. Ibrahim al-Nakhai said that Yaqub alayhi salam knew that the man whom they were going to was his son Yusuf alayhi salam. Allah had, however, not given him the permission to reveal this fact. And his aim in telling his sons to not enter all at once was to ensure that Benjamin would enter upon Yusuf alayhi salam unnoticed. That Benjamin will enter unnoticed. There is no doubt that a group of 12 men, known to be from a single family, would raise eyebrows, and even those who are present, even cause those who are present to be jealous of them. There is no doubt that jealousy and the expression of amazement is the root of the evil eye. It is for this reason that the utterance of MashaAllah is recommended. MashaAllah from the evil eye, MashaAllah protection from calamities. You know the story in Surah Kahf regarding that possessors of the garden. If the garden was destroyed, what did he advise? What was it? He said, لَوْلَا إِذْ دَخَلْتَ جَنَّتَكَ قُلْتَ مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. Why is it when you entered your plantation, you didn't say مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ? So مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ is protection against evil eye, protection against calamities. As for the mention, or Yaqub alayhi salam's mention, وَمَا أُغْنِي عَنْكُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. I, Yaqub, am not able to avail you against Allah in the least bit. It tells us that man must rely upon reason and take precaution in whatever he does. He cannot subject himself to harm in any situation. he must though at the same time know that nothing afflicts him except with Allah's permission, and that nothing can help him and avail him against the divine ordainments. So he must know these two things. Always remember al-asbab, the reasons, which include taking precaution, which include planning, are part of the divine ordainments. They are part of the divine ordainments. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded the believers in verse 71 of An-Nisa, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu khudhu hidраkum fanfiru thubatin aw infiru jami'a. O believers, take your precautions when traveling, set out in groups or go out all together. We are thus also told not to put ourselves in situations that can cause harm to ourselves in body, honor, and possessions. For instance, verse 195 of Al-Baqarah reads, وَأَنْفِقُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ وَأَحْسِنُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And spend in Allah's cause, and do not throw yourselves to harm by your own actions for not spending in the cause of Allah. And do good, for Allah indeed loves the doers of good. As for the mention of إِنِ الْحُكْمُ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ by Yaqub alayhi salam in verse 67, here is a negative. Okay, it reflects upon the essence of Tawheed. The belief that nothing takes place or exists except with Allah's permission, and that all judgment in affairs belong only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The servant in the palace of the earthly king strives to gain the pleasure of his master and seeks not to interfere in matters pertaining to governance and decisions the king makes in the ruling of his subjects. Similarly, the believer must preoccupy himself with only the service of the King of all kings, his Lord, his Rabb subhanahu wa ta'ala, and make use of all the blessings that have been put by Allah at his disposal, and leave the rest to Allah. It must thus also follow that he places his trust in his Lord, for none decides the outcome of events except him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alayhi tawakkaltu, alayhi falyatawakkalil mutawakkilun. Yaqub alayhi salam, he said, I have placed my trust in Allah, and let those who want to place their trust in Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. This closing statement of Yusuf alayhi salam at the end of verse 67 represents crucial elements of faith, very important elements. It tells the believer to strive. It tells him to be careful and watchful at all times, and employ all permissible means at his disposal in achieving what he intends and desires. It tells him to accept all that comes his way with contented resignation if his efforts fail. It tells him that judgment belongs only to Allah, and thus the believer does not weaken in the face of misfortune, for he knows that Allah would remove it from him, and so he turns to Him with prayer and supplications. Inna ma'al usri yusra. Inna ma'al usri yusra. It makes the believer aware that he cannot rely upon material measures alone for his success. He regards success as being a divine blessing, and is thus humble and thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A message clearly and profoundly stated in Surah Al-Hadid, verses 22 and 23. ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في أنفسكم إلا في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأها إن ذلك على الله يسير لكي لا تأسوا على ما فاتكم ولا تفرحوا بما آتاكم والله لا يحب كل مختال فخور. 22 and 23 of Al-Hadid. No calamity befalls you on the face of the earth or upon yourselves, except that it has been decreed before we bring it into existence. That is easy for Allah to do, so that you all may not despair, over that which you have missed out on, didn't get, and so that you would not exult over the favors He has bestowed upon you. And Allah does not like every person who swaggers in pride. Yaqub alayhi salam had allowed his sons to depart with Benjamin after securing a covenant from his sons and advising them and placing his trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then tells us about their arrival in the presence of Yusuf alayhi salam. وَلَمَّا دَخَلُوا مِنْ حَيْثُ أَمَرَهُمْ أَبُوهُمْ مَا كَانَ يُغْنِي عَنْهُمْ مِنَ اللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ إِلَّا حَاجَةً في نفس يعقوب قضاها وإنه لذو علم لما علمناه ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. Verse 68. And when the sons of Yaqub alayhi salam entered upon Yusuf alayhi salam as he had commanded them, it did not benefit them in any way, except that it was a wish that Yaqub alayhi salam had harbored within himself and had thus fulfilled. And he did indeed possess knowledge because of our instruction to him, but most men know not. The statement مَا كَانَ يُغْنِي عَنْهُمْ مِنَ اللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ stresses that the precautions that Yaqub alayhi salam had recommended against the fear of the evil eye would not have availed, for it would have harmed them even if they had entered individually, had Allah ordained so. And this confirms the truth of Yaqub alayhi salam's belief, which was mentioned in the previous verse. وَمَا أُغْنِي عَنْكُمْ مِنَ اللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. I cannot in any way avail you all against Allah, but I'm advising you take precautions, because it's our duty to take precautions. As for the wish of Yaqub alayhi salam, it was his desire to ensure that all necessary precautions were taken to ensure the safety of Benjamin and his brothers. This was fulfilled with their compliance. They complied. So it was fulfilled. So that was what Allah said, إِلَّا حَاجَةً فِي نَفْسِ يَعْقُوبَ قَضَاهَا. So his haja was fulfilled. Allah also tells us that Yaqub alayhi salam did indeed possess knowledge, and that his actions were not based upon ignorance. Allah tells us that He provided this knowledge to Yaqub alayhi salam. But most of mankind from amongst the ignorant do not know the extent of the divine instruction Allah gives to His prophets and messengers and chosen servants from amongst the pious saints. وَلَمَّا دَخَلُوا عَلَى يُوسُفَ آوَى إِلَيْهِ أَخَاهُ قَالَ إِنِّي أَنَا أَخُوكَ فَلَا تَبْتَئِسْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Verse 69, where we will stop. When they entered into the presence of Yusuf alayhi salam, he took his brother Benjamin to his residence. Yusuf alayhi salam said to him, I am indeed your brother, and so do not be saddened by that which they used to do. So we will continue inshallah next lesson from this point.